Genetic design just dies.
Every ounce of energy, every bit of concentration was to create the scene he wanted, you know. And the thing, of course, is he wants perfection. And in the most gentle but most demanding way, he would tell you what he wants.
Sit down, pal. Come on, don't be an asshole, Deckard.
I've got 4 skin jobs walking the streets.
We had Union Station in Los Angeles, and they spent the whole day lighting it. And then we finally we had, you know, a half hour, we had to do the dialogue. You know, all this other was just preliminary, and then we gotta get it, you know.
I think he was indulgent. I think I saw 13 or 14 or 15 takes at times that you couldn't tell the difference between one and the other. And many times I asked him, why do you do it? And he said, well, in the back do you see the shadow? I wanted a bigger shadow. And I often thought, if my mother is looking at that shadow, we don't have a picture.
And eventually I just, you know, on the film I became a screamer. I got really angry, and which is not good, because screaming doesn't get you anywhere, really. But just out of sheer frustration.
Who did you scream at?
Oh, just you know, constant questions. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? I don't care how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that. It's when it's why are you doing this, that's really annoying, because I'm pretty qualified at this point.
And I said, oh my God, I almost forgot I'm an actor, because it's fun. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this all day, every day, you know?
It wasn't willful on anybody's side. It just simply was that they were dealing with people they weren't used to dealing with, or a director they weren't used to dealing with particularly. And they weren't detailed people like Ridley. They weren't perfectionists like Ridley.
It's fair to say that Harrison and I were nearly always quarreling. And I think I lay that down partly at my feet, partly to do with the fact that I think I was so used to getting my own way.
There was not much connection between him and the actors. I think that was another reason why Harrison got so frustrated with Ridley, because Harrison at the time needed direction, and Ridley is more of an art director, more of a cameraman, and not at that time was not much of it, so much of an actor's director.
I'm not one given then. I am now, because I figure it's a mistake. I'm not one given then to spending a lot of time on explanation and stroking, right? I've got too much to do, you know, to get what I want, because I have a performance as well. I'd spent a year with Blade Runner. I knew it inside out. And all that Harrison had to do was trust me. But Harrison's not used to working that way. Harrison's very involved. And I can understand that. And I think he was awfully good in the movie. And I still think he doesn't talk about it, which is a great pity, because I still believe it's one of his best films.
The replicants were all such great characters, and Harrison Ford's character is such a dumb character. He gets a gun put to his head, and then he fucks a dishwasher, and then he falls in love with her. It doesn't make any sense. He's introduced as, you know, this detective hero, but he's not the hero, he's the bad guy. His role didn't seem to fit him, or he couldn't make it fit. I know that was going on, and I don't know why, but if he would have been stronger, I would have not been so shiny, you know.
So productive was Rutger's relationship with Ridley that the relatively unknown Dutch actor soon became the unexpected star of the film, connecting with his director's European sensibility and even writing Blade Runner's most memorable couplet.
At 3 a.m. in the morning on the last day, and we're 2 hours from dawn, because we're nearly in the summer months, I think, yeah. And it's already gone blue. So I go to the trailer and say to him, okay, you've got to get out there now, we're ready. And he said, look, I've got these words. He said, I'd just been noodling with them over dinner tonight. That was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Can I just say them? And I said, okay, say them. So I sat in this trailer and I heard them. And that was it. I thought it was beautiful.
Rutger read those lines and then kept on going, and he had a bunch of other stuff, which included the tears in the rain and everything. And then he looked at me very sheepishly, like I've been a naughty boy, like, he's an actor and he'd written these lines.
I had two lines that I kind of liked for what they pictured, in the universe.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate.
There's only so much poetry you can get rid of, and these images are so strong. And then, I came up with the line, all those moments will be lost in time like tears in rain.
Although Blade Runner's principal photography was completed by July of 1981, the post-production period, during which music, special effects, and of course a controversial voiceover were added, continued right up until the film's opening in June '82. It was to be a long and difficult year, characterised by arduous edits, confused test screenings, radical recuts, and even the addition of an entirely new happy ending, all played out against increasingly unhappy relations between the movie makers and the money men, kicking off on July the 11th, 1981, with the official firing from Blade Runner of producer Michael Dealey and director Ridley Scott.
We were technically fired. We weren't fired in the sense that we still came to work every day and worked. That's not normal if you're fired, but we were technically, on paper, they didn't require our service anymore. And the reason for that is they were permitted to do that because we were 10% over budget.
I tried to articulate to Ridley later on that he's taking money that should be my children's, so that I'm now digging into my personal money because of his letting the picture go on and on and on and on and on.
Somehow they feel that I thought, irresponsibly and just went over anyway with a kind of fuck you attitude. And of course, because I'm dyed-in-the-wool businessman by that point, it hurt me that I went over. I hated going over.
It was just a piece of absolute rubbish and ill-mannered rubbish at that. They were going to finish the picture without the director. What are they talking about? I mean, it's just a piece of very stupid rudeness.
I wasn't too concerned about whether somebody was happy or not happy. I was now hanging out the window saying, wait a minute, this has become a nightmare.
And I, fired up, and he said, Michael goes, tut, 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 tut. Let's talk outside. So we talked outside. He said, I suggest what you do is get onto your union. And so I did. And I've been very impressed by the DGA ever since. They corrected the process instantly.
As Yorkin, Dealey and Scott worked through their differences in the aftermath of principal photography, the landscape of Blade Runner continued to grow under the eyes of the special effects team, led by visual wizard Douglas Trumbull, director of the sci-fi classic Silent Running, and a key creative player in such genre hits as Kubrick's 2001 and Spielberg's Close Encounters.
Doug is a natural scientist, and you give him a problem, he said, let me think about it, and he'd come back with a solution within a couple of days.
The look of Blade Runner is totally unique and fresh and was done relatively inexpensively and quickly. And I think the result really met what Ridley wanted to see and blended with the rest of the movie.
Ridley kept looking at what we had and said, I want to see more, and I want more vastness. And I kept saying, Ridley, we don't have the money.
He's not easy to please, and we like that. That's a good thing, because all the guys working on it, you got to remember this is a very young crew.